What's going on, Clippers fans? I am Chuck Mockler, joined by Adam Oslin and William Updike. We are doing a happy hour live of Clips and Dip.
Where'd you get this spooky font for the names?
I got the spooky font from our fantastic streaming platform Restream, which never has issues and always works. Joseph Fry Award, how the heck are you? How you doing,
hey guys.
Joseph?
I literally have 3 seconds. I've got one take.
Let's go.
I've got one take. I think, hear me out, Pablo Torre either lost several $1,000s betting on the Clippers or Kawhi Leonard fucked his wife. The one of the two has to be what happened here, because this is the most insane thing. Now Ty Lue is implicated. What's going on, guys?
Oh, I thought you were just going to cut to black after that.
No, I wish. I'm driving. I can't. The production value was a little difficult when I'm driving.
Sure. We can get out of the way. We're going to talk about the Clippers 2-2 record and the game against the Pelicans in a sec.
But since we're on the topic,
look,
we've talked about this before. I have a lot of respect for Pablo Torre. Obviously, he's a great journalist. I don't get why he thinks this is all the president's men. He's like on his Bob Woodward right now, but way less well dressed than Robert Redford's version from said film.
Well, he said some quote. The tweet that's funny is there was one where someone basically asked, like, "What are you going for here?" And he said, "The truth." It's like, great. It seems like you're stringing together a lot of.
He just wants to be right at this point. He really wants to be right. He wants to be proven right. He also needs to be right. Because if he's not right, he potentially could be sued by Steve Ballmer and the Clippers. So there's some things in there that he needs to be right on.
That's where I was at with some of the Ty Lue stuff. It's like we're getting kind of into libel grounds with some of the Ty Lue reporting. Sorry, Adam, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think initially maybe he was just going for the truth. It sure came across that way. And then Mark Cuban and him got into it, and now the Clippers are caught in the middle, and it feels like a pissing contest. And
yes,
that's exactly what it feels like.
Now, I will say this.
The only person who loses in a pissing contest is going to be Clippers fans. Piss is getting on someone's pant leg if you're a Clippers fan in this pissing contest. Unfortunately.
Soaked.
Too many toilets into it. Too many toilets into it for there not to be some splash. There's some splash somewhere.
Elite partitions, though, head into it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay. The Clipper, that's all we're saying about Pablo Torre. Unless he wants to come on the pod, in which case I'll watch Adam yell at him for 3 hours.
I wouldn't yell at him. He did start following me recently after I went after him in one show, and I thought maybe something would happen with that, but I guess not.
I can't.
You got to message him, dude. You got to open the line of communication.
Hey, Pablo.
I'm good. Then the NBA gambling thing happened.
Right. I
don't know. I took issue with one thing that I thought he was woefully off base with, but this stuff coming out today, yeah, it does seem more personal the longer this goes on.
Yeah, it's just like, come on. All right. Thank you for joining the live. We're gonna put this recording out later. If you ever want to get into the lives, check us out at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast. The Clippers are 2-2. People are kind of freaking out despite it being 4 games. Bradley Beal will be back against the Pels tomorrow, which is awesome. It's much needed, obviously, if you watched the last game. How are we feeling after 2-2? Adam, you've been in the trenches defending the fact that it's only been 4 games, which I think is fair.
I didn't know it needed defending, but apparently it does.
Do we think that, just like basketball aside, Will, do you think that the horrible letdown that Game 7 was has kind of warped how some of these early season results are being digested?
No, I don't think this. So this is like par for the course. I mean, a lot of people came into this with some expectations. We finished with 50 wins last year. I would say that this is a better roster in terms of addressing some of the flaws and weaknesses. It is pretty normal to want to see results right away, and B, to take away take some pretty liberal takeaways from a very small sample size. So I'm not surprised by that at all. I mean, that last game was completely disappointing. But every team is going to lay a stinker like that at some point early in the season. And maybe the Clippers are just sort of getting it out of their system.
Getting the stinkers out of their system is what you're saying.
They got they got the turd guy.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the last game was tough. They couldn't hit a shot, which was their main problem.
Yeah, defensively, we're okay.
Except for the transition defense. The transition defense is 27th in the league, which is not good. But again,
4 games.
And also, not a huge surprise, right, Adam? This team is old. It's not like anyone came into the season thinking their transition defense is going to be elite.
No, last year I think they were middle of the pack, and you would take that considering the age of the team. If they end up there this season, but are able to at least focus in a little bit more in the playoffs, which what happened in the last 4 games against Denver in transition was tough.
Right.
The flaws are going to be there. Now the league has gotten even faster. So the Clippers' weakness being transition defense could be more embossed than what it was before. It could stick out even more because everybody else is playing faster after what happened last year with the OKC Thunder and the Pacers and the pace they were playing at with both of them getting to the finals. And everybody sees that, we can catch you off guard. A lot of teams are playing very good half-court defense. This is how we're going to make up the difference when it's tough to score out there. We'll get some easy ones in transition. So that's troublesome for the Clippers. And some of the effort has been poor so far on that end, definitely. But we've also had 2 blowouts, which skews a lot of the numbers.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say they're 2 different types of blowouts. I thought the Jazz game, they were just DOA. And then against the Golden State Warriors, they got down and battled back. They were down 15 and they were up 3 at the half. So, and then they just continued to shoot the ball poorly. And there's not a lot you can do about that when you're getting decent looks and you just can't knock them down. There are nights like that. Their defense gave up 98 points. You give up 98 points at Golden State, you would assume you'd win that game.
Great call. I also I don't know. They were 2-2 last year after 4. It doesn't matter. The 4 game sample size we have.
No, the time to worry about 500 ball is if that's where they're looking at the All-Star break.
Right. Yeah. If we're playing bad, then some of the good things that have been happening is Kawhi's moving incredibly well. There's some fatigue issues. Ty Lue said in the Golden State game, him and Harden they just both got tired at the same time. So that's why we had that rough stretch where there was no Harden, Kawhi, or Zoo on the floor. But
I was also tired around that time, so I think it's understandable.
8 p.m. game for these guys. And roster crunch. It's an old team. Beal being out is a big deal. He's there to be a safety valve. Or relief valve, I guess, is a better term for Harden, so he doesn't have to sit that off. But I mean, Kawhi's moving well. It's encouraging. And that game, like you said, Adam, they shot so bad. The reason they had so few assists was because no one could hit a damn bucket. It's not because the ball wasn't moving.
Right. I do got to say, though, Adam, I'm curious your thoughts on this. Skill-wise, Beal is a great fill-in for Norm. Even an upgrade in a ball handling thing. But when you look at the availability, considering how much we needed Norm last year, does that give you any long-term concerns about the offense for this regular season?
It does, especially he played 53 games each of the last 2 years for the Phoenix Suns on the dot. And he's 32. Now, Norm had his own injury issues at times, of course.
And the team
But-
struggled.
Right. The timing of it is the difference. Norm was healthy to start off last season. Obviously, Kawhi wasn't there, and Norm was huge and had a career year, and they needed everything from him. If Beal wasn't out early on to start this season, and we're thankful he's coming back against the Pelicans, I think it would look much differently. It's just the fact that it already feels like, well, he's older, he's had injury issues, and he's missed 2 games already. But I think the fact that they had 2 days off after the Golden State game, and now that he's available for the Pelicans game, that tells you this was somewhat planned. They knew he'd get a little extra time. So I'm not overly concerned. And this type of injury, it has nothing to do with the knee scope that he had back in May.
Yeah.
This was, he got banged up by playing good defense against Phoenix. So I'm not overly concerned, but what you would just hope is they would have a better replacement strategy right now, and they haven't because Bogey's played so poorly, and it's been going back to the Denver series where he just hasn't looked the same, and I think it's a real low confidence going on with Bogdanovich right now.
And no preseason. Like he's playing himself back into shape, not excusing his poor shooting, because if you're going to do one thing good, that's what we need you to do if you're Bogey. But yeah, his preseason was game 1.
Yeah.
Like starting, which is not what he's supposed to do at all. He needs to hit those shots for sure. It was nice he got some reps at the end of the Golden State game for
he got up a snide.
Right.
That's exactly what happened against Denver. He didn't make a shot the first 2 games. They blow out Denver in game 3, and Bogey comes in late and finally gets a shot to fall. It didn't manifest into him going off the rest of the series, though, but obviously we're in the regular season, and hopefully that gives him some confidence for the next time he's out there.
Yeah. How have we felt about Harden? Still feels like, I put this in the notes, the system is booting up a bit. And again, this is where you miss someone like Beal to help him take some time off. But he kept the Clippers in the game against Golden State.
Yeah.
So
I think he's been pretty good overall. His driving ability has been there. He had the 26-point first half against Phoenix, was it?
Getting to the basket against Golden State, I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I could see why he's tired for an older guy who doesn't usually drive that much, but he was forcing the issue at the rim, which was cool.
Yeah, I think honestly, a lot of guys individually have looked good in spurts. It just hasn't all come together yet with consistency throughout quarters and looking like a cohesive unit on either end of the floor. But 4 games.
4 games. I mean, it is just 4 games. Will, how have you felt about take the Warriors rotation situation out of it, where Kawhi, Harden, and Zoo were all off the floor? Because I don't think Ty Lue ever obviously wants to have to do that again. How have you felt about Ty 4 games in, basketball-wise? Strictly on-court thoughts.
Not in the realm of any sort of gambling.
No green
pros
felt.
or-
There's no green felt within a mile of. We're not at Hollywood Park.
Yeah, I think it's about as to be expected, right? Like, he's gonna feel these guys out. I think I'm going to be watching a little bit more closely once we have a longer sample size of Beal in the starting lineup, and he's actually like he can play with things a little bit more within a framework of what will actually be running out there, if that makes sense.
Sorry, someone's saying there's someone in the live comment saying, can we just fast forward to going after Giannis? No, we can't. Why would we do that? I feel like there's this idea. I don't know. Maybe I should hold off.
Did we not learn anything from this last era? Can we be done chasing 30-year-old superstars? Like,
can we just let some shit happen? It's week 1. They play their 5th game tomorrow. Yes, it's against an opponent that's worse than we are and has historically ruined our days, so it might be a weird game, which we will get to later. But 4 games. I don't know, man.
We're everyone overreacted.
Growing pains. Sorry, go ahead.
They got blown out by Utah. Everybody overreacted and said we're old, we're slow, and then they beat 2 teams. It did, but then they beat 2 teams that played faster than them in Phoenix and Portland, who were younger, and then they had a really cold shooting night against the Golden State Warriors, where their defense played pretty well, but they couldn't hit shots. That's all that's happened so far. This is long term. I think they're still in decent shape. The fact that Bradley Beal's already coming back is huge for this team.
Right.
If they win over the Pelicans and then split the next 2 games after that with OKC coming to town, you're okay. You still have a chance to start off 7-3 in the first 10 games.
It's still there.
I'd take it.
And you know what has been? There's still also some really good things. There's guys. Chris Dunn has been so good. He was so good in that Warriors game. John Collins, I mean, elite. Like these 2 guys off the bench is unreal. We can talk about the starting lineup a little bit too, in terms of maybe some shuffling with that. But I don't think that'll happen because we haven't exactly seen the fully healthy starting lineup.
I love somebody in here. Do you honestly see the Clips beating OKC or Denver? It's like they went 7 against Denver and easily could have won that series. So yes, OKC is a different type of challenge for everyone. Yeah. They are the defending champs. They're younger and getting better. So every team should just pack it in and forget the season. That's who?
Yeah, the defense for the Thunder is... I wonder if there's going to be a change post All-Star break, like there was.
That's what Congress should be asking for a probe into.
Yeah, exactly. Do we think Chris Dunn or Collins slips into the starting role at any point? Also, wait. Sorry, that feels ahead of it. We do need to just shout them out for how good they've been to start the season. It's been so nice to watch Chris Dunn play defense again for this team. Was surprised he didn't start versus Golden State.
Yeah, I thought he was going to start that game after he started the second half against Portland instead of Bogey. But Coach Lue is trying to build up Bogey's confidence. They need him long term. You can't just give up on a guy who's only played 2 games so far. That's absurd. Because at some point, they're going to have guys out. There's going to be back-to-backs. Guys are going to be dinged up.
The point is now. We have guys out now. Yeah.
Sure. Only problem is Bogey came in, as you mentioned, without a preseason, and maybe that's contributing to his shooting woes. But that next time something happens and guys are out, they need Bogey to actually have some confidence in his shot. This guy in here keeps spamming, talking about beat 2 horrible teams, blown out by a horrible Utah team. This just in. The Denver Nuggets lost twice to the Washington Wizards last year with Jokic. Like, it happens, guys. I'm here to tell you. This stuff happens in the league. If you watch every other team as closely as you watch the Clippers, you wouldn't be as shocked by them losing to what's deemed as a bad team early in the season. And we warned you, Utah does have some talent, and they have no reason to tank yet. So, I don't know. It's not the craziest thing in the world.
And last year, like, the Suns were sitting pretty at this early.
Oh yeah,
season,
they were
right?
9-1, I think, the first 10 games.
We do have veterans, which will work it out. Will, how have you felt about Zoo these first 4 games? Ivica Zubac. Sorry.
Ivica Zubac?
Yeah.
I felt good overall. It's still not like a jump, but I'm curious like what other gear he really has at this point in terms of like of development. And I think
within the Clippers system.
Within the Clippers system, and obviously part of that, like at least on the offensive end, is going to be tied to how Harden is playing. And I don't think that we've seen peak there. So I think that is going to be a level to unlocking him, obviously, offensively. Defensively, he's been good. the team has had some peaks and valleys on that end of the floor. At times, I feel like he does still get a little disengaged, as we've seen before. But I mean, he's overall been very solid. He's been rock solid.
I think the offense kind of has been like a little shaky on the tracks, but it felt like.
But I do think that part of that is like his running mate, who there is no Zoo unlocked offensively if James Harden doesn't come to this team. And so when he's not at peak, I think that makes sense.
Adam, how do you feel about Zoo's first 4 games? We're all Zoo truthers. Like, if anyone who's listened to any of our work in the last 5-6 years, we are pro Zoo.
Like, anyone who's anti-Zoo at this point is looking pretty bad. You were on the wrong side of history to start, and it's pretty clear to everyone in the NBA how good he is now. I think he's been a little bit spotty, but he's also so dependent on other guys getting him involved. I don't know how to look at it. When the overall offensive system isn't clicking throughout the 48 minutes consistently, it's like Ivica Zubac is probably going to be most affected by that because other guys are going to have the ball in their hands, obviously, and be making those decisions out there. And he's obviously not going to demand to give me the damn ball like he's Keyshawn Johnson, even though I would love that. I think he's looked really good at times. He was good against Portland. I was still frustrated because I felt like when they went into that offensive lull in the second quarter and they kept having all these turnovers, they could have just spammed Zoo a lot. And he ended up with 8 points in the quarter. Felt like he could have had 15. Portland was going small. So it's still a work in progress with this team understanding what they have in Ivica Zubac and how good he is and how
year
easy
7,
it is
year 8
to score through him. But I there's nothing concerning so far. It's a rhythm thing.
Yeah, I like that. There's obviously valid concerns for this team long-term, transition defense, stuff like that. Rhythm being the problem, I think, is a great way to look at what the Clippers' issues are. Like, we're not saying that it's like a perfect team or something like that, but I love what you said about rhythm, where it's like guys got to feel what it feels like to play well together. And they haven't even had the healthy full roster for what it's going to be. So we see things like the turnovers have been horrid to start the season. Like, the turnovers have been, I think it was against.
After a good first half, though.
Exactly. So that's the thing. They come in bunches, right? 3 in the first quarter against the Warriors. I think 6 in the second quarter against the Warriors. Like, it spiked with their turnovers, which has been fair to be frustrated about. And when you turn the ball over and you're not getting back on defense, that's like a recipe for how to not pass the eye test.
Yeah, and that's the Clippers' biggest weakness is their transition defense. You're feeding into that when you're turning the basketball over. They had 8 turnovers against Portland in that second quarter when the game was looking like it was getting out of hand. But this team also, going into the game against the Golden State Warriors, had the best effective field goal percentage in the league. I think the overall best field goal percentage in the league. So you could say they were due for a poor shooting night as well. It's just, that's why I can't put that much into it. It's just, 4 games is nothing so far.
You can't put that much what?
Into it, Dome.
Go. Send us the check.
Aspiration.
JR into it. You better send that check. Yeah, turnovers have been bad. Transition defense has been bad.
I tell you, they can blow out the Pelicans tomorrow night, and I still can't put that much into it. I can't.
Well,
it goes both ways.
I don't know. Because it's the Pelicans specifically, I would feel like they exercise some demons.
All their issues are fixed.
Yeah. If they blow the Pelicans out on Halloween, something is going up and putting a cone of atonement over the Clippers or something.
You know what a lot of these people are going to say, though? Oh, Pelicans are now 0-5. Like, you better beat them. They're not going to give the Clippers any credit.
Lose. Before we get into the Pels stuff, how have we felt about Chris Paul's performances so far?
He's been shaky. he had turnover issues. He had issues bringing it into the front court, which was a little bit alarming. But I still go back to what I saw in the preseason, which is how well he's moving. If he's moving well, I'm not concerned long term. Now, preseason versus regular season, live bullets flying and guys actually playing at a faster pace, that's different. So it could be a shock to the system, but I still felt really good. He knocked down those 2 big 3-pointers against Portland in the fourth quarter. That was good to see. Let CP3 and all these older guys maybe get their sea legs here, because that could also be a little bit of what's happening. Kawhi was asked about that after the Golden State Warriors game and kind of was like, yeah, I mean, that's part of it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think with Chris Paul, obviously throughout his career, an athletic, lanky defender is going to give him trouble. That's exacerbated when you're, 98 years old in NBA years. No disrespect to Chris Paul. That's just what he is with how athletic these teams are now. And they're still figuring the bench minutes out, because that puts a crunch on everyone else on the bench, right? If Chris Paul is kind of having to make those early decisions or play a little more cautious, it makes it difficult. But
people asking, like, why is Bogey starting? It's like, guys, because they don't want to disrupt the second unit, because Bogey was already out of the rotation. So you don't have to pull someone from the second unit, which has a domino effect of then with minutes. That's why. It makes a lot of sense. You can act like, oh, they're being illogical. What's Coach Lue doing? No, there's a lot of rationale going into this. You can make fun of it because Bogey hasn't played well so far, but in theory, it makes a lot of sense. And with how good the second unit looked in the preseason and everybody freaking out, and then immediately they have a bad game or two, it's like, oh, we got to change everything. I don't know. I just see like a knee-jerk reaction. And hey, I think Collins could start tomorrow. I do, because of Zion and what's happened in the past.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see.
Will, any final thoughts on these 4 games or anything we've touched on before we get to the preview?
Throw the baby out with the bathwater.
You're saying lean into what's happening.
Fire Ty Lue, 4 games in.
Yeah. Don't need the flack.
Trade the roster. Start Chris Paul.
Yeah. It's going to be I shouldn't say it's going to be okay. It's most likely going to be okay.
This guy in here saying Bogey's last 9 games going back to the Denver series hasn't even looked like an NBA player. Guess what? He has a body of work that is going to say, you're going to give a guy like that more than 9 games to say he's washed. You're going to give him a lot more time, especially because right before that playoff series, he shot 50% from 3 for over a month.
Also,
that's not even a sixth of what you would hope a player would play in a regular season, let alone a career.
Also, and this might be an insane A to B to G that I'm doing here, but I think the fact that Bogey started, for the people who don't want him to play more, that, like, because they want to keep the bench rotation solidified, right? So they started Bogey. What does that tell you about Bogey's place in the bench rotation? You know what I'm saying? For a fully healthy roster, if Bogey's starting for these games where it's like, we just want him to get his rhythm back, and they're not concerned about having him in the bench rotation, if you are anti-Bogey, in the long run, you should feel okay, I guess, because it doesn't seem like they're prioritizing him getting consistency with the main bench unit.
And this guy is saying, well, you don't want them to disrupt the second unit, but tomorrow Collins could be starting. Yes, I'm saying that because I believe coming into the season, it could be matchup dependent with Collins and DJ. And this might be one of those examples where you're taking on a team like the Pelicans where you have to be bigger in the front line. Maybe. They don't have Jonas Valanciunas is not there anymore. They have some young guys.
Anybody could be on this roster.
Well, the fact they still have Zion and he's playing right now means I wouldn't mind seeing John Collins in the starting lineup, even if, yes, that could disrupt the second unit, because this is a unique circumstance where you're going up against a guy who's just a monster and has always hurt the Clippers.
On Halloween, pretty spooky.
Monster mash.
All right, we're going to do a quick fake audio break where we're going to be quiet for 1.3 seconds. And then we're going to come back and talk about the matchup against the Pels, because we are putting this out on audio. And And if you'd like to catch one of these live streams, go ahead and set that alert for youtube.com/@Clippers podcast, audio break, and then Clippers versus Pels talk coming up in 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back in. We didn't leave. If you're watching this over on youtube.com, which it is, of course, live, so you can hop in, stream, comment, do that, subscribe over there, and then you'll know whenever we're doing this. But anyways, we talked a little bit about the start. Very disappointing. I think we've all never been more upset with the Clippers start than we currently are. But now looking into the Clippers taking on the Pels, little Halloween night game. One thing that's not very scary, Clippers have a fully healthy starting lineup. Depending on how you look at it.
Wait, that's not scary?
Well, it's scary for other teams, not scary for a Clippers fan.
Got it. I was like, wait, that does feel scary.
Going up against the Pels, who are 0-4, so they're bound to win one at some point. Adam, do you think that's coming against the Clippers?
I don't like the scenario. Halloween, desperate team, haven't won yet, going up against a team they have all the confidence in the world against, because the Clippers are 4-12 their last 16 games against the Pelicans.
I'm surprised it's that good.
We've won 4?
Yeah.
Believe it or not. There was even one game in there during the 23-24 season where they just blew them out in New Orleans, and we were all in shock when they were on that 26-5 run. Yeah, I'm concerned, but they've been playing so poorly, and they don't have Brandon Ingram. They don't have Jonas Valanciunas. They're missing a lot of the guys outside of Zion, TJ McCollum, who used to torch the Clippers.
Yeah.
Torture them. Maybe the key is going to be starting fast and making them feel like they're not going to be able to stay in this ball game. That's kind of how things have been going for the Pelicans. They've been getting beat early.
Yeah. You look at their graph on the basketball reference, like the win, like the results graph. It's 2 very large red bars. I was looking in their subreddit because I wanted to find some highlighted comments from their subreddit post-game thread after their 122-88 loss to the Nuggets. And these were just some of the funny ones I found. It said, I watched the team last year, and that third quarter was the worst quarter I've ever seen the team play. This was by far the worst on-court performance I have seen from this complete uninjured group in the last 5 years. We don't have the talent we think we do, still continue to get outworked, out-physicaled, and make the same mistakes. So at least over there, they're not feeling good.
I think they got blown out in that third quarter, something like 39-13 by Denver.
They are starting. Yes. Tobriand said, Clipper killer DeAndre Jordan tomorrow, and it is the NBA Cup. They're starting. How about this? I talked about Game 7 leaving a bad taste in people's mouths. That whole series that we lost the DeAndre Jordan minutes has very much left a bad taste in my mouth. I would like to see us not lose minutes against DeAndre Jordan.
That would be good. The DeAndre Jordan, Reggie Jackson game from a couple of years ago was an all-timer. I know people are saying the Clippers can't start fast. First of all, last season, their first quarters were much better. What were they up by against Portland after the first quarter? 10? They have shown it at times. They can do this. They choose
not to run.
I do think there's something to this if we want to get back into starting lineup stuff, because who knows what we'll see tomorrow. Chris Dunn in the game against Phoenix turned that game back in the Clippers' favor after they were down by 10 early with his defense, with his tone setting. I think that was the game that Patrick Beverley was at, and he does the same thing that Pat Bev used to do. Like, you see a guy out there playing that hard defensively, it kind of inspires everybody else to play that hard. That's who Chris Dunn is. And if at some point he's back into the starting lineup, because he's that constant reminder of how you have to play to start games, I would not be opposed to that either.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. It might be interesting. I wonder, Will, do you think they'll do that for Beal's first game?
Why
I don't
not?
think it's coming tomorrow, but
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's coming around. I see the logic 100%.
Look, we're 500. Throw everything out the window. Let's remake the formula.
Do we think, is John Collins more likely to start over Chris Dunn? Just size-wise, because Zion, as much as I love Chris Dunn, Zion is a larger human being than Chris Dunn. He's a larger human being than most human beings. But
I know, chat, he's lost weight. He still is a force. Did you see the dunk on Wemby to start off that game a few days ago? Yeah, I think John Collins is more likely to be in the starting lineup. But again, we fall into the trap all the time of putting so much into the starting lineup and who's starting. Meanwhile, John Collins finished that game out against the Portland Trail Blazers and was great down the stretch. And everybody's like, they're not going to play him. He's only playing 25 minutes a game. No shit. When you get blown out twice, it turns out the minutes are going to be pretty skewed.
right. Here's one. Start Batum. I could actually maybe see them doing
Sure.
that.
They just started him in the second half against Golden State. Why not?
Shout out X Mongo Project, who's always in lives, and I feel like has been watching us for a while, so I appreciate that. Yeah, I could see him starting Batum. Zion averages 22, 6, and 6 versus the Clippers. The Pels are 29th in offensive rating and 29th in defensive rating. Granted, it has only been 4 games.
They're going to be bottom 10 in both those categories at the end of the year.
Jeremiah Fears is a guy who seems very good at scoring 2-point buckets, not so much scoring 3-point buckets. It is Halloween. It is the Pelicans. So
they just Jonas Valanciunas.
Yeah, no shit. So they're 22nd in transition points per game and 25th in pace. Do you think they just try and sprint against us to open this one? Is it that crazy of a strategy if you're another team and just be like, what if we just tried to play as fast as possible?
I mean, if you got the legs, why
Which
not?
They do. They got Poole, right? Fears.
Yeah, why not poke at something that's going to be a glaring weakness for another team? Anything you can do to get an advantage, especially because as Adam said, they get routed kind of early, and then there's not much you can do. Like if there's something that they can do to flip a switch or change something, I don't know why you wouldn't. Does that mean they're going to completely change their style of play? I kind of doubt it, but I mean, certainly, if I'm in that coaching staff, I'm like, play a different style of play as fast as possible.
Yeah, they don't seem to be, how can I say this respectfully, locked into any particularly effective offensive system right now. So if you are the Pels, it's like, DeAndre, just hang out under the basket. We'll just run fly routes.
I think the only way the Clippers lose this game is if they let the Pels get hot from 3 early and Jordan Poole is just going unconscious.
Yeah.
Which could happen.
And turn the ball over. And turning the ball
over.
Right.
Right. Those two things could go together. They're walking into 3-pointers because they got the Clippers in the rotation because they're in scramble mode after live ball turnovers, and the Pels are just walking into 3-pointers. Like that. If you give them confidence early, you're going to be in trouble and in for a long night.
Poole came off the bench versus the Nuggets, which I don't really know. I don't think him playing in the starting lineup would have particularly affected the outcome of that. But him off the bench versus this Clippers bench is interesting just from an age perspective. But we do have Dunn, I'm assuming, off the bench to handle Poole.
Yeah. You got to cut off the head of the snake, which is Zion. If he just starts bullying the Clippers right away, good luck.
Cut his head off is what you're saying.
Well, the headless Zion Williamson. That's even more terrifying.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I want to see a big game from Zoo. D Flu is saying he's been seeing a lot of shrugging from Zoo. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. He is not one of the best body language artists on the team.
No poker face.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. He might have a case against Ty Lue if he lost some poker games. But I don't think Zoo has a poker face. It'd be just cool to see a very dominant Zoo game. This is a game where all of the guys should be able to put on a dominant display of what they're good at. And I mean,
what's the Pelicans' identity? What is their identity? I have no idea what type of team they are. They're based around Zion while he's available on the court. But
Scavenger.
even
large winged bird.
Pelicans aren't scavengers, though. They hunt.
They're looking for loose balls. Scavengers looking for loose balls with the Clippers.
That's true. I like this quote from Togoyan. Can we get long hair wig for Zoo on Halloween? If not Halloween, then when, dude?
Why? Forget the NBA Cup. One game a year in costume. Mandatory costume.
Yeah, if you play on
one game a year.
Costume.
I think KPJ tried that last year.
God, he showed up in that insane with guests. Joke. Didn't he play like shit that game?
Yeah, I don't think it went
I'm
well.
gonna look it up. Dude,
I also was like, is he gonna take the makeup off? Like, how is this gonna work now?
Dude, you play in that game and then like anything happens, like if it's not very good, you're like, I guess I have to put on this fucking purple. Like, okay. He was 6 for 12, 0 for 3 from 3, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 14 points in a loss against the Suns. So still feel like an idiot probably putting that Joker suit back on.
Oh, that was the Suns game where they came back down 21 or whatever at the half and hit 15 straight shots to start the third quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That Mexican Nara saying don't underestimate. I don't think I am underestimating them. We know how this Clippers team can get beat. Unforced turnovers leading to poor transition defense. And this is a young team. Like, you don't think Zion wants to get out and run in transition against one of the older teams in the NBA? I'm terrified for this game.
Maybe we should have hit the disclaimer hard to start off the season. But with a team this old in a long 82-game season, there are going to be nights, believe it or not, where they just don't have it. Yeah. Where they don't have the juice, they don't have the legs, they don't have the pop. Would you expect that night one against the Utah Jazz? No, but it happened. Just beware. It doesn't necessarily mean they don't care, they don't want to win. Some nights they're just
you don't have it.
Old.
Yeah.
Hopefully Friday night is not one of them, and they just had 2 days off, so I would not expect that. I expect them to win. I expect them to win big on Friday. Honestly.
This hell, we have to pick. Well, you were here for the last time. We'll start with you. Who is Islander?
Chuck, you're breaking up so much.
Your internet is old and slow. It's like the Clippers have looked at times.
Completely frozen at this point.
This Pelicans game is dangerous. Start fast. Do not give them hope. Give them the Jeremy Renner Hawkeye treatment. Do not give them hope. That's how this game needs to be. And look, they're 2-0 at Into a Dome. They have looked different there so far. They've shot the ball really well at home to start the season. I would expect that to continue, especially after 2 days off and getting Bradley Beal back.
Yeah, especially because this will be the most important LA sporting event of that evening. And I expect I expect the audience to act thusly.
Yeah. I don't know
Charles,
if they're going to have
that the Clippers being at home also makes this a little different. Makes this one a little different.
It makes it scarier. Exactly. It makes it more terrifying.
I do expect them to win big. If they don't, and they win close, I'm not going to be upset.
You're throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Just disappointed.
If they go lose and start 2-3, and there's more of the same issues going on, and yeah, then we can start having a conversation because then it's very unlikely they're going to start the first 10, 7-3.
Yeah.
And they let go of a good opportunity to start off the year hot with this schedule.
What who's your Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Ivica Zubac's player of the game pick?
I think you just named all three of my guys. I will go with John Collins
Hell yeah.
because I think he might start. And even if he doesn't, if he comes in 4 minutes into the ball game to play against Zion, that's also okay. That's also acceptable.
And that's fine. Will?
Gonna go Bradley Beal.
Damn it. You're saying that? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some pop from him. A nice little standout performance against the 29th ranked defense would be great.
Just taking some pressure off Harden. Like even if he's just doing the little stuff.
Yeah.
That Mexican Nara is in the chat saying, I think Zoo is due. I agree, but for this particular segment,
for some reason,
we are legally not allowed to choose Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, or Ivica Zubac for our player of the game pick. This isn't Pingalore rules. We're not picking the obvious.
At one point in the season, like in the season last year, the list got even longer than that.
We added Norm Powell to the list, which rightfully so. Bradley Beal might make the list.
I think people, once Bradley Beal gets going, are going to be more accepting for why they started 2-2. Oh, we were missing this guy.
Yeah.
I think that's a real possibility here.
Started 2-2 last year, won 50 games, so I'm not exactly pulling what's left of my hair out over it. I am going to pick. So we got Collins, we got Beal. Man, I want to say Lopez, but I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going Derek Jones Jr.
A classic pick from last year.
We're going to need his athleticism. It's a young team. I think they're going to try and run a little bit. He's just got to make things a little harder for them in transition. Like I think this is a good match for Derek Jones Jr. and John Collins to show what they can do in a singular game basis to kind of offset some of the age and athleticism issues.
And low key, DJ's been off to a great start so far.
Yeah.
Shooting wise from the outside, he's like 46% from three. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to be fair and say it's still a small sample size. Let's let it play out, even the good things.
Let's let it play out. One final note before we leave. Kobe Brown will not have his option picked up. He will be an unrestricted free agent after this season. If you were on Kobe Brown Island, I got off a couple weeks ago. I hope you brought some sunscreen lotion. Sucks, but I don't know, not incredibly unexpected. Adam, where were you when you fell to your knees and sobbed after seeing this push notification?
The shooting has never turned out to be there for him the way it was his last year at Mizzou, where he shot 46% from the outside. That's his swing skill. Without that, it's probably not happening. He's going to turn 26 in January. I'm rooting for him, but it's tough on this Clippers team. You got to be really well. The Clippers would have to be a lot worse, which is always interesting to see people say, why don't we play the young guys? Because they're winning.
Right. Because we want to win 50 games.
Why aren't they playing Musa, who's going to win 25 games this year in Charlotte? Because there's a reason for that. But I like Kobe. He still has some intangible stuff and kind of a jack of all trades stuff that's interesting. If the shooting ever came around, it'd be big.
Yeah. This comment from Chung got me. It said large sample size for Kobe. That is true. He could kind of connect plays, but it's just like his foot speed wasn't there on the perimeter for defense. It's like one of those. He was huge, very large guy, but I don't know. Will, what do you do with your Kobe Brown jersey?
Well, I got to call my laser guy first, tattoo wise.
Yeah, you got to get that Kobe Brown holding the Larry O.B. You got to get the year scratched out on that one.
The Larry Kobe.
All right, on the Larry Kobe note, we are going to get out of here. There is a depending what happens in the Dodgers game, there might be a post game after the Clippers versus Pelicans game. How are they affected? You have to figure that out. We'll be back Sunday to talk the back-to-back versus the Heat and Thunder next week. Will, where can people express their love or disdain with this podcast publicly?
Yeah, you can just go ahead and yell your disdain into the wind.
Janine, look in the sky style.
If you'd like to praise this pod, you can do that, of course, over on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can also comment on any single one of our videos over on youtube.com. That's at Clippers Podcast. Go and subscribe over there. Hit the little bell for notifications so you know when live events like this are on, and you can hop in the chat. But however you listen, however you view, we appreciate you.
We really do. And Adam, someone's saying clips and no dip. No dip in the regular season. You got to watch.
We got to lock in, partner. We got to lock in.
We got to lock in, dude. If we did dips every week, I wouldn't watch any of the games. I wouldn't know that the season's over after 4 games. Adam, one positive thing for Clippers fans as we head into this spooky weekend.
Well, Bradley Beal's coming back. I think the Clippers are going to play very well tomorrow. And at that point, once you're a game above 500, all is well in Clipper Nation. Guys, this moment of time where we are 8 days in to the start of the season, it will pass. Here's what I would say. Look to Kawhi Leonard's overall win percentage. Kawhi's healthy. The odds say if Kawhi is healthy, you're going to win a lot of games. So let's look forward to that happening, because I think he may still have the best regular season win percentage in NBA history or somewhere around there.
It's pretty damn close. Thank you, Bonesaw 28, for saying no dip in the season casual. That is so funny. We love everyone who hung out in the chat.
Everyone is the best.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll be back. Everyone have a safe and enjoyable Halloween weekend. Things can get weird. And as always, let's go Clips.